I want to share you the PPTs, what all content we have to go through today. Okay, now as the heading suggests, woman, caste and reform. Today our topic is changing the lives of widows. विडोज कोणाला म्हटलं जायचं की जिचा नवरा मेला आहे त्या बाईला विडो म्हणतात. आणि what were the changes in the lives of those widows the reformers made or brought that we are going to learn today, and how miserable their life at before 2000, 200 or 300 years ago their life was so miserable. So we are going to talk about the change in their lives. Okay, for that you have to read the content from the second paragraph of page number 110 till the end of page number 111. Now I will share you with the textbook. Okay, now look at this, changing the lives of widows. Ram Mohan Roy was particularly moved by the problems of widows faced in their lives. He began a campaign against the practice of sati that I have told you in the previous period, correct? Ram Mohan Roy was still well versed in Sanskrit, Persian, and several other Indian and European languages. He tried to show through his writings that the practice of widow burning had no sanction in the ancient texts. Ancient texts म्हणजे आपले पुराण जे इतिहासकालीन आपले पुराण आणि वेद आहेत की ज्याचा हिस्टोरियन्स रेफरन्स घेत होते दे दोज वेअर कॉल्ड ॲज अँशंट टेक्स्ट. सो to make this change or to make this to bring out this reform, what he has taken the help of, he has taken the help of ancient texts. Okay, in those ancient texts also these practices were not in favor of, these practices were they are not supporting in those time also long back in history. By the early 19th century, as you have read in chapter 7, many British officials had also begun to criticize Indian traditions and customs. Do you remember, yes, on the previous lecture I told you that Britishers were thinking that the Indian society was most uncivilized society. So they wanted to make the changes in their traditions and custom. They used to criticize it. They were therefore more than willing to listen Ram Mohan, who was reputed to be learned man. In 1929, sati was banned. So this is the first change. In which year sati practice was banned? In 1929. You have to remember this year. Okay. The strategy adopted by Ram Mohan was by later reformers as well. Whenever they wished to challenge a practice that seemed harmful, they tried to find a verse or sentence in the ancient sacred text that supported their point of view. They then suggested that the practice as it existed at present was against early tradition. In early tradition also it was not advisable or it was not practiced. But that was happening 200 or 300 years back, which he changed, and this way 19 in 1829 sati practice was banned. Okay, so here they have told us about one more reformer, Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar. Okay, and here there is a picture of Dayanand Saraswati. Dayanand Saraswati, what he did? He founded the Arya Samaj in 1875, an organization that attempted to reform Hinduism. Okay, so this is the formation of Arya Samaj by Dayanand Saraswati, and he also worked towards the changes of the reforms. Who supported widow remarriage? हां, म्हणजे त्या काळी बायकांना परत लग्न करण्यासाठी अधिकार दिलेला नव्हता किंवा त्यांना परमिशन नव्हती. And as I told you before, their life was so miserable. But with the help of these reformers, widow remarriage was supported. Yet the number of widows who actually remarried remained low. Those who married were not easily accepted in society, and conservative groups continue to oppose the new law. ओके, म्हणजे जरी ही प्रॅक्टिस बॅन करण्यात आली होती तरी काही ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल दे वेर नॉट रेडी टू ॲक्सेप्ट दिस चेंज. ओके, दे आर still remaining in low, means there those practices are still occurring in some parts of the subcontinent. Now next is girls begin going to school. Now this also change we are looking for. So as I told you in the previous lecture, those time the girls were not allowed to go to school. The reason for that, Only the family person or the family head was thinking that. Moreover, girls had to travel through public places in order to reach school. They were thinking of the safety of the girls because they have to travel a lot to go to the school. So their safety is the issue what they are bothered about. So this is the one reason why they were not sending the girls to the school. Another reason, they were thinking that if the girls are now educated, now they will dominate the family or they will dominate the family members. So this way they were also thinking that girls should be banned from going to school. First issue was the safety of the girls. Second issue was that if girls were educated, if the girls were get educated, they will dominate the men or they will not do their own domestic duties. They feared that schools would take girls away from home, prevent them from doing their domestic duties. म्हणजे घरातली कामं केली जाणार नाहीत. नंतर त्यांना ओपिनियन मिळेल, त्यांना एक व्हॉइस मिळेल, चॉईस मिळेल आणि त्याच्यामुळे ते डॉमिनेट करायला सुरुवात करतील आणि सेफ्टी इश्यूज असे त्यावेळेस बिलीव्स होते. बट अगेन these reformers, they were thinking this practice is a barbaric practice. This is not at all, this should not be supported. So, in the latter part of the century, schools for girls were established by the Arya Samaj in Punjab and Jyotirao Phule in Maharashtra. So, this again you have to remember these names, Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar and Jyotirao Phule. So, what changed these two reformers brought in? So, they started the education for the girls. Okay, this is all about going the girls to the school. So next part of the lesson, once they are educated, now in the third paragraph I am highlighting in the aristocratic Muslim households in North India, that paragraph I am talking about. Now because of these reformers, the girls are now educated. Okay, they started going to schools, universities, they started going for jobs. In Muslim communities, what is happening in North India? Women learn to read the Quran in Arabic, their holy book. So that is Quran. They were taught by women who came home to teach. Some reformers, such as Mumtaz Ali, reinterpreted verses from the Quran to argue for women's education. Reinterpreted means they have just translated all those experts on from that Quran into their own language, and that way they convinced that women education is must, it should be supported. So this was the reinterpretation of Quran. The first Urdu novel began to be written from the late 19th century. Amongst other things, these were meant to encourage women to read about religion and domestic management in a language they could understand. Okay. Now next, women write about women. Heading is very easy. There are few names of the women leaders or women reformers or who were the participant of that movement. Those names were mentioned in it. So you have to read this content. Okay. Now on the page number 113. Can you all see page number 113? There is a list of women reformers and
Yes.
what and there is a list of women reformers and what actually they did. Now by 1880s, Indian women began to enter universities. Some of them trained to be doctors, some become teachers. Many women began to write and publish their critical views on the place of women in society. आता त्यांनी पहिलं नाव दिलंय ताराबाई शिंदे. ताराबाई शिंदे, what he did? A woman educated at home at Pune published a book, स्त्री पुरुष तुलना, मीन्स मराठीतला हा शब्द आहे स्त्री पुरुष तुलना, मीन्स कंपॅरिझन बिटवीन वुमेन अँड मेन, criticizing the social differences between men and women. Okay. Now
Yes.
next, Pandita Ramabai, what she did? A great scholar of Sanskrit felt that Hinduism was
Okay.
oppressive towards women and wrote a book about the miserable lives of upper caste Hindu women. She founded Widows' Home at Pune to provide shelter to widows who had been treated badly by their husbands, relatives. Here women were trained so that they could support themselves economically. If they educate झाल्या, then they will start working, then they will have jobs, then they will start earning, and they will be economically also independent. Okay, so these are few names which are mentioned in these two paragraphs. First one is Tarabai Shinde and Pandita Ramabai, and what was their thought and what changes they brought in the society, it is mentioned over here. Okay, now in the next paragraph, there is a last sentence in that paragraph. Orthodox Muslims were also worried about the impact of these changes. Orthodox means whose thought processes, we can say it as a narrow. They are not ready to accept the changes. Those we call it as Orthodox Muslims. So they were not ready for these changes. Now next one is next paragraph. As you can see, by the end of the 19th century, women themselves were actively working for reform. They wrote books, edited magazines, founded schools and training centers, and set up women's association. From the early 20th century, they formed political pressure groups to push through laws of female suffrage. Now, at that time, suffrage means right to vote. At that time, women were not given the right of voting, so they were fighting for that also, along with widow remarriage, along with child marriage, along with sati practice. Now, along with the education, they are now fighting for the suffrage, that is right to vote, better health care and education for women. Some of them joined various kinds of nationalist and socialist movements from 1920s. Now, ikde 1920s they have joined means now here our freedom struggle started under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, where now women also started participating in all the movements for the independent India. So that is why they have mentioned some of them joined various kinds of nationalist and socialist movements from 1920. So this is for the struggle of freedom. Okay. Now next part, I'm going to share you the PPT now because that content we have to cover it. Okay, we have read from the textbook. Now I will be sharing you with the next part of PPT. So this we read till the page number 111 we read. Now what is there in the PPT? Most reformers work for equality across the board. Their work was cut out twofold against the caste system and for women. Cut out two folds means what? They are fighting or they are supporting the two reforms. That is, one reform is for the woman and another reform is for the caste system. That is why they have used the word twofold. We have read this content. Now, the next PPT is one of the biggest reform was related to the lives of widows. Raja Ram Mohan Roy advocated widows' right with fervor. Fervor means lot of excitement, lot of enthusiasm. He supported that. Okay. He studied ancient texts to disapprove sati practice. So this is a very important sentence where you have to keep this always in mind. The reformers, they also have taken the support of ancient texts, which is very much against the barbaric practices. Okay. One of the biggest reform was related to life of widows. Now what happened? This already had support from the British and thus the practice of sati was banned in 1829. We have read it already. Further, Ishwarchand Vidyasagar studied ancient texts to find support for widow remarriage. This found support by reform groups across the subcontinent. How this is possible? Again, this is possible because of the print media. आपण जसं मागच्या लेक्चरमध्ये शिकलो की this idea of reform was spreading through the print media, newspaper, leaflets, magazines. So this found support by the reform groups across the subcontinent. Okay. Yet actual reform was a distant dream. म्हणजे अजूनही complete reform आपल्याकडे किंवा complete changes झालेले नव्हते. It was a distant dream. Still it is a dream for us. Still we have to fight for those achievements. Socially, widow remarriage was looked down upon. This led to establishment of widow homes. जसं आपण आत्ताच्या पॅरेग्राफमध्ये लर्न केलं होतं In Pune, a home for the widows is provided. Hmm? Raja Ram Mohan Roy also questioned the logic of disallowing education to women and calling them mentally inferior. How do men claim that women are less intelligent when women haven't been allowed to education? Means how can we say that women are inferior? We can't, because we have not given them opportunity to go to the school to get educated, so we can't call them inferior. I have explained you the meaning of inferior and superior in the previous lecture. If you remember, otherwise take a help of dictionary and find it out. Okay, this logic formed the basis for of girl education, an ideal we strive for even today. Why they have said this sentence? Because the goal what we are supposed to achieve, we are not yet achieved in many parts of India. Also, if you go in the rural areas or the isolated areas, there still women are not educated, they are not having many opportunities like good housing, good food, good water supply, good jobs. Still that is we are striving for, means it is still a dream for us. That is they want to say in this. These reformers faced opposition because people worried women would not do domestic work if they were allowed to study. This we have learned from the content of the textbook. Be corrupted by external influences if they left home. These are the reasons why they were not sending the girls to the school. So once they started going to the school, they will not do their domestic work. So this was their belief. Be corrupted by external influences means they will come to know about the external world. They may start arguing, they may start going out frequently. So this way they want to say that they may be corrupted by external influence if they left the home. So this is the reason why they are not sending the girls to the school. Schools were set up for girls by various reformers across India. Men of the house taught the women to read and write because of the taboo association with girls leaving home. म्हणून what they started, कि this is the taboo. Taboo means once like a stigma that associated with the girls leaving home. You can't say it is exactly the stigma, but it is not taken in a good way. So men started teaching the women to read and write. Girls educate themselves. They started teaching themselves, means girl was teaching another girl, or women were teaching among themselves. Aristocratic Muslims households taught women how to read the Quran. These reforms led to further changes. What are those changes? Muslim women interpreted the Quran to argue for women's education, because now they themselves are educated, they can translate, they can interpret for their benefits, and they can raise their voice that how women's education is important. So they interpreted the Quran to argue for women's education. Women entered universities and pursued careers as doctors, teachers. Women wrote books, poetry. Women started working for women's reform. Child marriage was abolished. This we have talked. I have given you the just idea what child marriage was. Means a girl child was getting married at the early age, maybe 8 or 9 years also, which is not good. So that was also abolished because now they women are themselves educated. They can raise their voice. They can put their opinion. It is noteworthy that women might have had slightly better status among Christians, but they were still suppressed. Means considering Hindu religion, in Christian religion, women are having a still better status compared to the Hindu, but still they are not completely free. They are still controlled by the superiors. So they are calling it as a suppressed. Irrespective of religion, women were given an inferior status. Irrespective of religion, reforms for women found opposition. Means though these reformers wanted to bring out those changes, but there is lot of opposition from the society, because as I just we read from the content that Few communities were not accepting these changes. So that is the meaning of this sentence. Irrespective of religion, reforms for women found opposition.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.